Hello once again, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Chain Code. This is the first episode of the series of episodes where we're going to be teaching you how to write your softwares. In the introductory video, we told you that you do not need to be a programmer for you to be able to follow up in these videos. Our objectives and goals is for us to take you through each and every step that you will necessarily go through in order for you to be able to be a full stack developer. Yes, a full stack developer means someone who can write the code at the front end and also at the back end. What is the front end? It's the side that faces up the user. Each and every time when someone uses a software, they are exposed to the user interface. Those clickable buttons, those clickable links, and those routes that takes you through to the different sections of the application. The back end is where you connect your models to the database. Right. If you don't understand any of those terms now, don't panic. You'll get acquainted with them as we go through. Now, as we select the programming language of choice, we are going to be using Python for the entire course. The reason we use Python is because it's versatile. It's easy to understand in terms of readability, and it has a massive community. Python can be used for different purposes. You can use it for data analytics, web programming. You can use it to write softwares. You can use it to develop machine learning models. And you can use it in integration with artificial intelligence. Because of its various use cases, we thought it will be good for us to introduce you to Python first before we introduce you to another programming languages. When I first chose my programming language, I went to PHP because I wanted to develop websites. There are different cases and scenarios that someone might consider before choosing a programming language. But for us, because we need you to be able to grasp the concepts of programming really fast, then Python was the excellent language. Now we are going to be taking you through the tools that you will be needing in order for you to be able to write your first program code. What you will need something which is called Visual Studio Code. You can go ahead into the official Visual Studio Code website and download Visual Studio Code for the type of operating system that you use. I'm using Mac, so I already have it downloaded on my system. To set it up is very easy. It shouldn't be a hassle. Then after that, you need to also have Python installed in your computer. What you need to do, you need to go through to the Python official website. Once you're done downloading from the Python official website, then you can also install Python. Sometimes you're going to find, because of the operating system that you are in, that the environment variables to the Python code are not populated. For you to be able to find out if the Python environment variables load, what you need to do after installation is that you need to open your terminal. What is a terminal? A terminal is an interface provided by operating system for you to be able to write commands to the computer. What do I mean? If I want to write a command to list all the files available in a certain directory, I'm going to write ls. Now it lists all the files and folders that are available within my computer on that directory that I'm at. Right. Then what you want to do now is to check if your Python version is returning something. For me, it says command not found, right? And on my environment variables, I have a Python 3, not Python. Therefore, when I say Python 3 version, it shows me Python 3.12.4, right? Then if I want my computer to be able to understand that whenever I mean Python version, I mean Python 3 version, what I can do is to make an alias, right? An alias that says Python is assigned to Python 3. Now, when I'm going to say Python version, it gives me Python 3.12.4. Now that I have all of these tools installed on my system, now what I have to do is to create a working directory. A working directory is just a folder that you're going to be working on. But here is the catch when choosing a working directory. You don't just select a directory, but you have to select a directory where you're going to have privileges, all user privileges. You have to select a folder that you can write on, a folder that you can delete from, a folder that you can create from, that you can create in, right? So you need to be able to perform your create, read, update, and delete, which we call it the CRUD functionalities. Usually when that folder is placed on your C drive, you'll be able to have those privileges. However, if you get privileges, if you place it in a directory where you don't get all of those privileges, there are certain ways to work around that. My advice for you is that you place your working directory into your C drive. So mine is here. I've already created a folder called ChainCode. So I'm going to be working on it. On this folder, I'm going to be opening my terminal because I want to be able to open Visual Studio Code. Right. There are different ways of opening Visual Studio Code rather than using this method. The only thing that you have to do is to navigate to your working directory. Now, since Visual Studio Code is open, you can see that at the top it says ChainCode, which is my working directory. Within the working directory, I want to create a new file by clicking this icon here on the VS Code. Then I'm going to call this file hello code.py. The extension .py is to tell Visual Studio Code that I'm going to be using Python. Immediately Visual Studio Code, if you have your icons plugin installed, you're going to be able to see the Python logo showing on the side of the file, confirming to you that this is a Python file. Then I'm going to click enter. Now, what I will be doing is that I'll be writing my first line of code by saying print hello chain code. Now we have to understand each and every element of the line of code. The print is a built-in Python function that displays text or other data on the screen. Now what you're exposed to, you are now exposed to functions. This is your first function. Your first code was a function that takes a data type of a string. What is a data type of a string? This is a string. We're going to explain it further as we go through the sessions. Print hello chain code. The text you want to display with the print function is the string, which says hello chain code, right? A string must be enclosed in quotation marks. It can either be a single quote, but a double quote. For the purposes of these sessions, we're going to be using double quote for a string. Then what you have to do at the end, you have to save your code, right? I have auto save enabled for mine, but if you don't have auto save enabled, you have to click Control S or Command S, or even go to File and click Save. To enable autosave, you're going to find autosave here, and it's going to show you a tick after it has been enabled. Now I want to run this code. I'm going to go to this section here on my Visual Studio Code. I'm going to say terminal. I'm going to create a new terminal. This terminal operates the same as the one that we opened before. So it doesn't make a difference whether you're using that terminal or you're using this terminal. However, it provides you with flexibility if you use the terminal that is on your IDE. For now, let us just ignore this tab that says Ask Copilot. We're going to be going through it as time goes on. What I'll be doing now is that I'll be saying Python 3. Then I'm going to say hello code.py. Then I'm going to run it. Now I've got an output on my terminal that says hello chain code, which is coming from this code. Now you have started with your first program. You're noticing some things. Why is the output showing here? That is because you're still developing the app. Can we go beyond the hello chain code? Oh, I think now it's appropriate for us to introduce data types and variables. We are going to be using variables, which are just placeholders for certain data that we know in advance, or certain data that we do not know in advance. Remember when you're doing your maths, they were telling you about your constants and your variables, right? So if you know in advance the value that you will be using within the system, then that's a constant, right? You need to have it as a constant variable. Then if you don't know the value in advance, you have to have it as a varying variable. Now let's go here at the top, the first line of the code. Remember, another thing you need to be aware of is that your code will read from the top to the bottom. Whatever you have at the first line of code is what will be run first. Then whatever you have at the bottom is what will be run at the end. Now we want to have a variable called message. My variable can either be an integer, can be a float, can be a string, or it can be a data structure. But now I just want to have this as a string. What string? I'm going to take the string from here. I'm going to take it and put it here at the top. Then what I'm going to do is that on the print, I'm going to be printing out the message. This code is now structured in a different way, but it's then now going to output the same output as the previous code. The only component that we have introduced is the variable message. Now let me just have a variable of an integer. Let me have an integer here, an integer variable called number 25. When I want to print this, both of them, on my print method, I'm going to say message, then I'm going to say age. Then I'm going to say number. Right. When I run my code, it's going to say hello chain code 25, because now the function is taking the message variable and the integer number variable and passing it through the print function. That's it with your first program. Okay. That's it from the first episode of writing your first program in Python. Feel free to ask questions, send me DMs, send me emails. Get hands-on experience with writing the code. That's how you're going to be learning. Start your own project on the side while you follow through this code. Then it's going to help you to fast-pace your learning skills. That's it from us. See you on the next episode.